want to introduce the filmmakers. BARDROY Baretto, I've known him personally for many years. He did the title sequence single-handedly for Panch. And at a time when there was no digital cameras, and he pulled it off on a small little Canon still camera, F6, right? Yeah. And ever since then, we've been like chasing him to make a film. Finally, he comes to Goa and makes his film. And it's a 10-year process for him. I don't know how he does it. That spend 10 years on a film and go spend next 2 years trying to show it across the world. He has immense patience. And can I please welcome Bardroy Baretto? Next guest is the newest indie darling, AMIT Masurkar. I saw his film much before it came out. And again, it's like pulling off a film the way he pulled it off and actually going out there and making profits out of it. And that's probably what we are going to also talk about. Amit, he's on his way to make his second film. And I'll take liberty from what we are supposed to talk about, so we'll kind of go in many directions. My biggest complaint mostly with filmmakers today, especially indie filmmakers, has always been that, you know, they go out, everybody has an idea and everybody has a camera. They go out, make a film, and then they blame the world for not watching it. You know, and you're looking at two people who did not do that. They literally made that film, they made sure world sees it, they experimented with newer platforms, the ways of distribution, the way they went about distributing their film. Bardroy is still in the process of, he's like completed 1 year of distribution. He'll be distributing the film for another year. He's going country by country, territory by territory, and this film has been running in theaters in Goa for almost a year now. Almost a year now. And he successfully made a very good film out of the same source material that I made a terrible disaster out of, which is Bombay Velvet. And so, but tell me the process of the film. He's been an ad filmmaker. He was working in Crest when I met him. And the kind of title sequence we pulled off in Panch, and I still take pride in showing off that title sequence. I said we did it 15 years back. So, over to you. Let's talk about your film. Let's first start talking about the process. Why did you want to make this film? What fascinated you with the story?
See, this. Okay, so basically, I have a day job in Bombay, which is advertising. So I sort of make my ends meet with it. And after a successful career in advertising, hello. Okay, I have to hold it so high out. Okay. After a successful career in advertising, I think it came to a point that I have to do something back to my state, which is Goa. And what really interested me was, and music was the hero of the film. So I think there was a story in the music. Yeah. So what we normally did is, the more I got deeper into it, I thought these musicians were much bigger. Yeah. So they contributed a lot to Bollywood music, and they had not gotten their due. So that became a responsibility in such. And so, yeah, eventually we set it out, wrote a story, put it together, and research is what made us be very, responsible how to project this. So I think it was a long, tedious process.
No, I'm not, there's a certain kind of a fearlessness. It is either fearlessness or either just I don't give a damn. You know, it's like making an indie film over such a period of time, making a 3-hour film, and refusing to cut it down, where we all deal with the pressure of cutting down films because exhibitors won't give us a space. And doing it successfully. And refusing to listen to anyone who's saying that cut down the film. And dealing with that in today's market world, and telling a story which is very, very rooted in Goa. And you're not trying to make it, it's a story that can easily be made in Hindi, in English, it can reach out to much more audience, but you want it to be rooted here, in the language. Your music is also original music that you have recreated of
Yeah, that's
Lorna.
right. Yeah.
And it's a story that a lot of us have been wanting to tell.
Yeah. Yeah, see, like I was very, very, I mean, you can say the stories sort of panned out. The songs, there were 20 songs. So, and the story, I mean, that 20 songs is pretty much the skeleton of the film. And yeah, so, and to cut it down, I don't know. So, like, if I go to the regular route, I think they would have said, make it a 1 minute, 1 hour 20, or whatever the format is. But we are doing, the Goan audience is used to 3 hour theatre. Okay? So I thought they will love it. So they need to be entertained for 3 hours, and then only they'll go home happily. So for me, the duration was never a problem.
And how do you maximize your budget? How do you maximize your money creating all those things and time period? It's a film set in the 60s, early 70s, late 60s.
Yeah. See, like even to be spending this sort of a budget on a Konkani film, I think it's madness. Yeah. So, but nevertheless, when we did the film, we were very sure that it has to be also be commercially successful. So we kept our eyes on the bottom lines, saying this is the only way we released it. For us, the multiplexes was never a route.
Now, how do you go about releasing a film like that? In the sense, you release the film in one screen in Goa, in one show.
Yeah, so basically there are 3 venues, which luckily the government had in Goa, so we took advantage of it. We have a team of, I think, 15, 20 of us who are voluntarily running the show. We literally project the film ourselves. We man the gates at the theater ourselves. We distribute the tickets ourselves. So I'm blessed to be having such Goans with me to take it to the logical.
How do you do that? My whole question is like, I'm so impatient, and I just finished my next film. I can't wait, and I'm already writing my next. I'm saying 2 years, you're selling your own tickets, you're projecting your own film, a film that you've been in the process of making for 10 years. And why do you do that?
See, for me, it's like giving birth to a kid. You nurture it to a point before sending it to the boarding. So I think the moment I reach that point, I let go of it. So for now, it needs a hand holding. And I don't want it to be, keep it relevant for 2 years. So we are halfway there. We are not even completely there. So 1 year's anniversary we'll celebrate on December 4th. And I think it's working. I think, and I'm leaving my footprints quite back for others to follow. So I hope they'll follow it, this path, and do it. Because I think that's the only hope we have for indie filmmakers.
Okay. And that's, BARDROY is, I don't know how he does these things. Amit has been in the movie business, he's been a writer, but you definitely know he struggled with writing bit if you see his film. Because I think that somewhere comes from very personal experience. Soleimani Kida. So Amit, talk about what prompted you to make that film and why did you decide to make it the way you made it?
See, I had always thought of first writing a film for a famous director and it getting successful and then writing another one, and I was hoping that then maybe the director or the producer will say ki acha tum abhi apna next film banao, then I would do that, because that is what was happening around me. But getting that first film itself was so difficult. Like I wrote around 4 or 5, I wrote 4 scripts, complete scripts for well-known directors, but they were not getting launched. Like and these were all studio films, and nothing was happening with them. I would get signing amounts, I would work for a long time, and nothing would come out of it. So I was pretty frustrated, you know. So I then, one day I thought that let me just write a script without thinking about anybody, but keeping in mind that I can make it only with the resources that were available to me. So I had a lot of goodwill, you know. I had made a lot of friends. So I knew that this film would cost very little, you know. All the actors I was planning to cast from my pool of my friend circle. And locations were something that were very easily available to us. So I knew maybe this restaurant we can get, maybe this person might give us his house. So it was all like, I made a list, almost like Roberto Rodriguez, you know. So I made a list of things that were available to me. I could use one car, I could use this. So I made a list of all those resources, and then I thought, what could I do with it? And I was quite inspired by Clerks and Swingers, you know, and I'd read their stories that these people made films on weekends. And so I was thinking, let me do a similar thing. So we shot a couple of scenes. They turned out really nice, But then my lead actor, Naveen Kasturia, got an ad film project. So he cut his hair. And he so I was like, you cut your hair, we are going to do a film over the next 8 months. He says, I need to live in Bombay, I need to pay my rent. I have to survive. So I said, what about my continuity? So that is when we realized that, we have to shoot it in one go. We can't afford to do it the way these guys did it. So then my father said, I'll give you some money. So I was ready to take it. But then I met Datta Dave and Chaitanya Hegde. So they told me that, why are you doing this? We will invest. We needed around 8.5 lakhs to finish the film. So they said, we'll put in the money, and once we make the rough cut, we'll go around showing it. So we decided to go with that. And we just made the film over 25 days.
You released your film on the Viral Fever platform. Now that's kind of unheard of. Nobody has actually intelligently used that platform. Viral Fever has a very big audience base. And on YouTube, whose idea was that? How did you come upon?
See, Arunab Kumar, who founded Viral Fever, is a very good friend of mine, and he's also in the movie. Like he's in the second scene of the movie. He plays one of the television writers. So, in fact, the week we started shooting Suleimani Kida was the week they launched Viral Fever. So we had a very close bond, and our offices were like in the same building. So we were always talking about doing something together. And what happened was, once we had a whole strategy. We knew that we would never make money from theatrical because we didn't have the P&A support. So I went and met Shiladitya Bora, who told me that we'll do a very small release, and that will get us a lot of critical acclaim, and people will know about it, and then we can do a quick online release. So that strategy was something we were working on. And the only platform where I felt we could do this was TVF, because they already had at that time, they had an 8 million viewership base. So out of 8 million people, we assumed that if, say, 10% people watch it, we are like making profit, So that was our strategy. So we went with knowing that theatrical will not make money and online.
As a filmmaker, how do you, in the sense, I meet a lot of young filmmakers. Like, they all watch the films on their laptops, but they want to release their movies in theaters. They always watch it on laptops, but they will want to release it in theaters. And how do you deal with that thing of, my movie will probably be seen more on the internet or on streaming video than it'll be screened on screen? That whole desire of seeing your poster put out there at the cinema, and you deal with that. How do you deal with that?
No, I'm happy people are watching it, because at least they're watching it, because we released it only in 7 cities. But we know that people from smaller towns, like for my next film, which I'm doing, Newton, I was with Mayank Tiwari, who's acting in the film, and we went to Dantewada, which is in Chhattisgarh. In the middle of Dantewada, one man comes to Mayank and says, "Aap Suleimani Kida mein the?" And I was like, ye isko kahan se pata chala? So he's like, "I saw your film on torrents." So, so, so we are okay with it.
What do you think is more important to you as a filmmaker? In the sense, finding a release, recovering the money so you make your next film, or there's a way you see the film should come out? Because
no, I want to make honest films. I want to make the films that I believe in. For that, I need to also ensure that they make money. Otherwise I'll not get to make films. So for that, that's the only thing I know, because I started out at the age of 20 in the film industry, and it took me like 10 years to shoot Suleimani Kida. So I've been one of those completely Lukha strugglers who was trying hard to first assist the right directors. That was not happening. Then television. I wrote TV for a long time, and that really helped me improve my writing. I was a writer on Great Indian Comedy Show. So all that was helping me a lot. But then I think making a film and having it screened in the theater is something that you always want.
But don't you have that conflict sometimes? But help me. There's this. I'm just coming from a point of view from my complaints with most indie filmmakers today. They always have this conversation about a proper way of making cinema and releasing it and putting it out there, and that whole artistic vision of a filmmaker, because of which they actually end up never making a film. You know, in effect. I'm saying, do you deal with things like that? Or you just, you go out, you want to have this need to tell a story, and you say, I'm going to tell my story my way, and I'm going to face the consequences of being stubborn about it. I'm going to go out there and do it a certain way, and I'll take whatever comes along with it.
Yeah, in that sense, yeah, that way I'm quite stubborn. I never listen. Okay, so and I think that's one of the quality I have. I think it's whether it's good, bad, I don't know, but it's proved a point. It's successful. People said, let's do it in Hindi, let's do it in English. You'll reach out to a bigger, larger audience. But I said, no, that's not the audience I want to make it for. First, it's my people back home whom I have to make it for. That is the fellow Goans. And rest, everything is a bonus for me, actually. And I really don't care whether people know me, not know me. I'm a reluctant filmmaker to start with. But the intentions was to tell a story. And tell a story which I'm deeply rooted with. And the intention was to make a Konkani film only and change the perception of Konkani cinema. And I think we sort of will start a culture with this film.
Oh, that's very good. And what are the problems that you faced in the sense, like with the budget that you're working at and the actor, because your film took a while to come out there, right? So I'm saying, let's just talk about the problems that you face when you go out in your process of making this film over so many years.
See, it took us 7 years to put the script together and sort of convince ourselves to say, now let's go and shoot. So then my partner, who is Angelo, is in the audience. He came to Goa, met all the people in Goa, the so-called corporates in Goa, and he came back to Bombay after spending 6 months in Goa and came with zero monies. So no one contributed. Yeah, so there was zero, sorry. So then we looked inwards. That is who is next. That's my family first. Then comes the friend. So I managed to con 102 people, okay, who are the producers. Yeah, so that's how we raised funds. And at the same time, if someone wanted to give us big money, like more than 5 lakhs, I said, no, I don't want it. 5 lakhs is good enough. And the least contribution was 25,000. So that's the range. So what it does is, if someone needs his money back more than us, we should be able to give it to him, yet the project doesn't collapse. So we did it with the hard way. Even if someone wanted to give more than 5 lakhs, we said, no, we don't want it. Because we didn't want anyone to be so big that it will put the project to risk. So that way I'm quite stubborn. And we didn't budge from that philosophy of how to raise funds. So we just...
And you've been a solo person in the sense you're your own editor, you were your own assistant, you were doing pretty much things yourself till you got together a team.
Yeah. It's been a sort of a isolated process, but I had some few close friends who believed in me. That is Michael and Angelo and RS. So they were the few core team, but we didn't have an office, nothing. We worked out from home. We edited the film at home. We sort of did everything at home. We never had an office. So it's only during the production time that we jumped into RS's office and used it as a production office. So we did things, we kept the cost very, very, very minimum.
I mean, what has been your process in the sense, like, the problems you faced, the people you had to convince and con and...
Yeah. See, making the film was the easiest thing because my budget was 8.5 lakhs. So I was like happy, you know, I had a lot of friends and everyone helped. And the budget was 8.5 lakhs only because my friends helped me, you know. Everyone acted for free, people worked for free. So the money only went in some equipment here and there, you know, like editing machine. Also, they were short of money, so I was paying the rent for the office that we were using, which is unaccounted. Then also I had to buy a editing machine. So there was a lot of money from other people as well. Like, you know, Mayank Tiwari was working, Siddharth Jain let him work for free and gave him a salary. So a lot of people were nice to us. So that really worked in our favor. And we made the film. But once we made the film, we realized that people were watching it, but then saying that why don't you remake this film with known people, or you know, ye acha hai, isko showreel samajh lo, and pitch it to Viacom or somebody and get a bigger film made. So that was something that was happening, and I was not able to understand. You know, everybody is talking about new films, but nothing is happening. It took us a year. We got selected in Mami. That is when we needed money to finish post. Like, we needed around 15 lakhs to finish the sound design, color correction, and get the DCP out, and pay off some people who were helping us. So that is when Sailesh Dave, not related to Datta, Sailesh Dave was one of the creative producers on Great Indian Comedy Show. So like, I contacted him, and he came on board, and he put in the money, and he single-handedly steered it towards the release. So it was only Sailesh Dave who did the release of the film. He put in around 20 lakhs to release the film. So PNA, we spent 18 to 20, and he took it to festivals, and he completely championed that film. And I should also thank Aruna, because for he put it on TVF, and he, you know, some people thought it was a TVF product, but that worked in our favor. And also Molly Singh, who did an amazing job on the PR. So we were a team of 4 people, Sailesh, me, Arunab, and Molly, and we were working together for a year to release the film.
By the time the film comes out, your cost escalates. Your cost goes up to how much? 40 lakhs?
Yeah, around that much. So
Does it give you nightmares?
not really, because the money that was invested was divided between people, you know, and they knew that they're not going to sell their houses to, you know, pay those debts. They were not like huge debts. So people were not that worried about losing the money, but we wanted to do justice to everyone who had put faith in us.
So no, when you recover money, what is your recovery model? Because ever since people started crowdfunding movies, there's one attitude that I've generally seen is they think when they crowdfund a movie, the money is actually just theirs. You know, a lot of people don't pay back. They just take it for granted and use the artistic license of being an artist, and that's generally prevalent. I've seen lots of people do that. And in fact, one independent film came out. It made money. It made much more money. It was crowdfunded, with which the one could go out and make second film, but he still went to get crowdfunding. So, you know, it's like, it's also a thing that is being misused a lot. And a filmmaker does not feel a responsibility that I have to give the money back. So when you have so many partners and producers, how do you distribute that recovery money? Is there on a priority basis? What do you do? Or as a filmmaker, are you conscious of it or you're not?
I think the returning money is utmost importance, and it was clearly this, since we said we'll keep the film relevant for 2 years, that means it's going to earn for 2 years and not 2 weeks. Yeah, so we were not looking for 2-week glory. We were looking for it as a 2-year process. So what we do is, we said every 6 months we'll return whatever we earn, and on pro rata basis. So that's the module in place. So the 4 years, the investors are our partners. And I think after 4 years, hopefully the film won't be earning that much. Yeah, but 4 years is what I see it earning. And I see us breaking even, returning the producer's money, and much more. And I think only then I can say I've made a successful film. Otherwise, making film is not a big deal.
So when are you going to put it out for, like, I'm saying, how long are you going to explore the way you're distributing the film, going territory by territory, going country by country, region by region?
Yeah.
So when are you going to go out of there and put it in a kind of a
Mass
stream, for mass consumption, and a revenue stream which actually gives you the money faster?
Faster, I wouldn't know, because
And
faster
what do you
would have
achieve
been a
with that?
disaster.
I think, what do you achieve with the process?
Yeah.
I'm saying, what are you trying to achieve with this way you're distributing the film?
Yeah, because if you had to go any faster, I think it would have been a disaster, because you know how films are released today. And if I had to release this film in a multiplex, 2 weeks it would have been out of the theater, and then the film takes a beating. The perception of the film, like...
Actually, your model is like what we call word of mouth.
Yeah, it's
And this
word
is
of
the
mouth.
word of mouth that has been, in a way, been orchestrated. Where you have controlled it and you have released it in one screen, and you're patiently waiting and not showing it anywhere else for 3 to 6 months before you start to show it in one place and the other place. You have literally orchestrated and been confident about your film with the content, but not allowed any kind of a greed or anything to come in, and which is why the film has only been growing and growing and growing for last 1 year.
Yeah, see, like I also grew up in an era where I grew up in Margao. Okay, there were 3 theaters that time. And we pretty much saw posters, say like Sholay. Sholay's poster was up a year before, and it took a year for Sholay to release in Goa. So, and we were interested in Sholay for a year, okay, just with the poster. So I think I can hold, I have that this of saying people will wait. Yeah, we'll come there, be patient, but yeah, so in today's world of, I think, consuming things in an instant, I think that's not the way forward. The way forward is let's go back to what we were earlier doing. And I think that's one of the philosophy. I mean, we are holding it very tight. It's madness, but it's working.
It is working. We've seen it work. Amit, you look like you're a filmmaker who actually would go in for that kind of consumption. You're exploring the newer distribution models and territories, actually putting your film out there within a week of the release. What do you think are the challenges that you face there? In the sense, right now we are in a country where everybody wants everything for free. Yeah, nobody wants to pay for anything. Yeah, we just want it to come to us and we want to watch it. And because of which, a lot of independent filmmakers suffer. For example, like even when films come out on PVR Rare, I often believe that it really does not help a lot of filmmakers. It helps the PVR label. It helps the reputation, but it's not distribution model when you have an exhibition center and not expanding the film beyond one show and two shows. You know, it's like where you can do it. There's centers where film works, like your film worked in 3-4 centers very well, and it doesn't work in some centers. But I don't see an intention of taking a film and making it work there. I'm saying, how do you face these things, and what do you think about that?
See, before I went to PVR Rare, I had heard, I was told to be careful, but my experience with Shiladitya and PVR Rare was really good. You know, like he pushed for it, and he made sure that we got all the right shows, and in the right theaters, which is why, and he gave us a lot of freebies. Like he put a trailer in all their major films. Like a Shah Rukh Khan film was releasing, they put the trailer in that film. Then they put the trailer in they gave us a lot of free space, they gave us free hoarding space because he believed in that project and he really pushed it. And for us, that was a big deal because nobody else was willing to distribute it. So the amount of freebies PVR gave us was good enough for us, and it actually good for us because we were on a very tight budget. Now, with respect to online, what was the question again?
No, I'm saying online, how does the revenue model work online? In the sense, at a time when everybody wants to watch everything for free.
I think another reason why people might have paid for it is because people also want these kind of films to get made. And it was on TVF, and TVF has a very loyal base, and they always give out content for free. So this was the first time they said we are charging 100 rupees, you know, and 100 rupees is less than the cost of a beer bottle, you know. So a lot of people who watched it were these engineers and, you know, people from business schools, the students, lots of students, like a lot of students, they paid for it and watched it. And I'm sure they must have downloaded it, and a lot more friends of theirs might have watched it, but it didn't matter to us because 40,000 people actually paid. So for our budget, it worked. But I'm not sure if it will work for a big budget movie.
So, there are lots of filmmakers. I see Siddharth sitting here, there's Deena sitting there, a whole lot of people. I think we can make it more interactive. Anybody wants to talk about things, and yes.
My question is that, what's the big deal? They do it in Hollywood.
No, the big deal is like when you're making a film here in India and you're trying to find distribution, a theater won't give that space to an indie film, which is long. Indie film, especially, they expect it to be shorter than 2 hours.
Why don't you split it into two?
It won't be programmed.
Split into 2 parts, part 1, part 2.
Yeah,
Kill Bill, Volume 1, Volume 2. Dave D, part 2, part 3. I'm waiting, by the way.
Can we please move on with the question somewhere else? Anybody wants to ask anything, talk about anything?
The model that was used in Goa, Anurag, would you say it would ever work in a city like Mumbai if you released it part by part, if you had people manning theaters, or not just Mumbai, but metropolitan?
That's exactly the kind of thing that I've been thinking, because it's a kind of a novelty and it brings a sense of pride. Because the whole idea is that he's insisting on making a film in Konkani and a film that celebrates with a lot of songs of Lorna and things. It brings a kind of a pride to a Goan. That, you know, it's a film about them and it's about, and the film actually makes a much larger point also in the end about most of the music. Music is the very soul of Hindi film industry. And most of the people who created that music actually were Goan musicians who were never credited. They were always in the background, they were always composers. They were like, you know, they lost their credits and the film makes that point by the end of it. But there's a sense of pride and glory that brings when the film is regional and to the language. I don't think it would work in Bombay. I think if I made a Bhojpuri film and made it in Banaras, it might work the same way. But a Hindi film in a country that makes so many Hindi films, I don't think that would work. But it also needs a lot of patience and resilience. I don't think I can do what BARDROY did.
Yeah, I know. As I was entering, someone was asking, "How can I see this film?" I said, "Keep your ears to the ground. You'll hear about it." So I think that's pretty much how we are. And yeah, keep your ears to the ground. We'll get there someday.
I think just by way of encouragement to all the independent filmmakers, and Anurag knows that we worked both on the indie scene as well as with the studios and on the larger films, but just by way of encouragement to you, the model that you both followed is effectively the co-production model that is a little more sophisticated, and we call it co-productions in Europe, we call it co-productions in America, etc. But what you've done is exactly what that is, i.e. raise money from various parties so that the risk is limited for each party, and then try and make the best film that you can, and then try and find platforms for release for it in whatever is the next big thing for such releases. So I'm just saying that, you know, it's an organic co-production, but even the larger studios around the world now, because filmmaking has become so much more expensive, so whether I work with a Fox or a Sony or UTV, etc., they too, while not calling it a co-production, are looking for monies from other partners so that they can put into film.
And that's also very, I think, because that's very intelligent thing to do what he did, and which I think a lot of filmmakers don't understand. A lot of filmmakers will go and take money from whoever is giving them money, and they'll take all the money. And you are, in effect, giving total control over your film to somebody else's whim and fancy. The whole idea to limit the investment keeps the power in your hand, in the hands of the guy who's actually creating the film, which a lot of filmmakers don't do, and then they later complain. It's like, it's such an important thing to put a ceiling, that I'm not going to take more money than this. It doesn't matter how many number of people come. It effectively makes it very democratic, where you are actually running the show.
Yeah, it's not, and it also, if someone really needs the money more than me, I should be able to give it. So that's one of the intention, because you don't want to get into a mess. Yeah, if someone needs that 5 lakhs, I just have to jump out, do an ad film, pay that money, go back to my work.
This is the exact reason why we didn't go for crowdfunding, because we didn't want to oblige people, because I knew if I put it on Facebook, a lot of my old friends and relatives might feel pity and give me money, you know. I didn't want that. So a lot of people suggested go for crowdfunding if you need money, but I don't believe in doing that for a film that I would do, but I don't discourage anyone else from doing it.
You're making your second film now.
Yeah.
And this is produced by Drishyam.
Yeah, it's produced by Manish Mundra. Drishyam's putting in all the money, and we are actually here in the co-production market. We are looking for strategic partners and sales agents.
What kind of a co-production you're looking at in the sense?
I think Shiladitya will be better. He's the right person to talk about this, because I'm not in the business aspect as much.
A mic there, please.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah.
I think, Anurag, as you mentioned in one of your master class last year also with Nina, that it is actually their love for their film to take it to the people, and really like the way these people are doing, and would like to add 2 more names. I think you mentioned those names last time also. One is Sandeep Mohan, who is doing for Bhola Vanki, and Pawan, who is doing for Lucia.
Yeah. No, that's something that I find very lacking in a lot of indie filmmakers. They make a film and they don't go out and make sure that the film gets seen and the film gets watched and take it to the people, and whatever may come, they will do it. Yeah. Anupma, Mike. Yeah.
So now I work at Hotstar, and digital I see is it's a great platform generally, and I think the advice for independent filmmakers is, I think look at brands. Today, brands want to reach out to audiences using digital platforms, and digital platforms will look for good storytellers who can reach out to certain target audiences. Like both your films have managed to reach out to specific audiences, and that's great. And I think if creators can keep that in mind and not only
Well, that's something we used to do in our struggle days. Is anybody who's not allowed to advertise, any company that needs surrogate advertising,
Exactly.
they'll be your best funders.
We
Always go to alcohol companies, they'll give you money to make movies.
Royal Strike.
Siddharth, we tried just that. We went to companies like soft drink companies, beer companies.
Right.
Nobody was interested in even giving 20
Yeah,
lakhs.
but that was last year. So
People say this in retrospect, but later on people say कि मेरे पास क्यों नहीं आया, But when you're there, nobody is interested. And these guys are saying, who are your stars? Oh, these guys. No. Who's the director? Oh, this guy. That's how they deal with it.
Absolutely, I get that. But I'm saying, next year, I'm talking about the future. I'm saying times are changing, it's evolving. We are at a very earlier stage of, this whole change. And change is just starting. So, but I think for future creators, digital will be a great way to get themselves, discovered.
No, it is happening, but there's also this whole problem in the sense nobody is paying for it. The way to figure out a revenue to sustain yourself, to keep making movies. I'm saying people are making a movie and then they wait another so many years to make another movie. And there's nobody, everybody's watching it, nobody's paying for it. So we are dealing with a time like that. And you can't really go out there and say that, no, you can't watch it. We want people to watch our movies.
Hi, Anurag.
Yeah.
Hi. My question is a sort of an extension of the previous question. There used to be, hi.
Nah.
Yeah. There was this stigma of straight to video, before the age of digital and everything. Now with digital, do you think that there's going to be a stigma straight to digital? Because
I think it's mostly in the head of people.
Yeah, no, so just to expand a bit on that point, theatrical is what you could see as a loss leader. So even if you pick up whatever 10, 50, 100 screens or whatever, if you're really lucky, which is quite rare for a very, very small film. But the fact is that theatrical sometimes acts as what is known as a loss leader, and then digital and other revenue systems become the so-called multi-platform release things. But my question from the creative point of view is there a stigma still for straight to digital vis-a-vis straight to video? Straight to video was a big stigma, in the early sort of days of distribution.
I'm seeing a lot of filmmakers feel that. According to me, all that streaming, now the whole web series a lot of people are doing is very liberating because one, you don't have to deal with this strange censorship that we're dealing with today, which actually is quite directionless. And then, you can actually go and push yourself. You can go out and do things that you probably were not doing till a year back. And that's one of the biggest freedoms, I think, and more liberating things of the internet. What do you think, Amit?
I partly feel that if you directly release a movie on the internet, they won't take you that seriously, But if you make a web series and it's successful, then you might get it's all about eyeballs again, And that is where, it's just 2 million hit, 5 million hits. Nobody really cares about the content. So if you make a video, a sleazy video, and it gets 10 million hits, you are the popular guy on the internet. So it's not really, I wouldn't really want to go straight to internet on any of my films, hopefully. But I'm sure in the future, that is the only way you'll have to do in order to survive.
No, it is almost like that model when we released our films in Europe, say, for example, we did a token release in cinemas. Like you had a 2-screen or 3-screen token release in cinemas that actually gave it some kind of a review, and it was bought up for satellite, for television rights. So I think it is, in a way, become like that, where your satellite right has become like the internet.
Yeah. Carrying with the previous question, actually, so I would want to say to Amit also, so I have made, 6 Bengali films till now, and I can, make and these are moderately big budget films also, but the next film which I'm doing is directly for the internet. And to be honest, I also had the stigma before, but you know, now I feel that that inevitable time has come, you know, and so I'm doing a next film which will be released directly online. But my question to Amit or to Anurag also was that you mentioned about 40,000 people actually contributed to the. Now, how do you calculate a viable project in that case before you actually make the film? So we are going through that phase now. So for example, the way we are doing it is, for one of my previous films, how many YouTube views were there? All pirated views. And some fraction of that, if they like what you were doing, then the project will be viable. So, you know, these calculations we are doing. So any thoughts on this? If you release a film directly on internet, how will you make a calculation as to what can be viable? And it will vary project to project, obviously. Yeah.
I think the platform you release it on is very important. You know, if you're releasing it on the right platform, they already have the clout to get it noticed. If you just release it on some random platform, and how will people come to know about it? So even in internet, there's a parallel system of distribution which is coming up. Now like people like Hotstar and TVF or Yashraj is starting their own internet channel. So these are the new studios, these are the new theaters. Also, I think it is, like you said, yeah, like you said, you made 6 films and now you're getting into web series. I would probably do that after 6 films, but I want to get 6 films out in the theater first. You know, that is something.
And I think a lot of new companies are forming, the first thing they're trying to do is get an audience base. I think that's the way to go. You have to first find an audience base before you start to put out films there. And
hi, I'm Vijay. Hi, somebody is talking.
Yeah.
And I'm Vijay. Hi. I need a word of guidance from all of you. I think I went through a similar experience, sort of. Some of my friends decided to give me amount of money to start a film. I made a film, and then sort of insecurity started creeping in their minds, and then they wanted their money back. I had to go for retirement and voluntary retirement, and I paid them through the Provident Fund and gratuity money, and then now the whole film is on me. Now, I want a word of guidance. The film is, I think, it's a smaller budget, but the climax was different, maybe because the film is a regional one. It's a Marathi one. So I want a word of guidance, how to get my money back and how to reach to the audience, if possible. The preference is getting the money back now.
I think that's where courage comes in. That's where, you know, for me it's like, what you're saying is exactly the problem that I have with a lot of filmmakers. You know, they jump into the process of making movie, but halfway through, they start dealing with other problems that they did not foresee. And then slowly it becomes about something else. It's not the same thing that you started out with. And that comes because it's because everybody wants to make a movie in this country. Everybody has a camera. And everybody thinks they can. I'm saying, it is like, if you really are so invested, why for me, Roy is a hero, because he's the most stubborn man I know. It's very difficult to reach to him. But he has actually pursued it, has had the patience to sit out there and screen the film. I'm saying, you carry your film and you screen it village to village in Maharashtra. Can you do that? You do that. I'm saying, do shows, charge people $10 a day. $10 and just screen your movie. And I know a lot of filmmakers who in India do that. And actually go out and show it from a village to village, and you will make money. I know when I met Gunit Monga first time, she had made a film and that did not work on the box office. And she actually, for 1 year, went to every school she could go to organize screening for school to school and recovered the money. I'm saying that's something that is what you call a drive, and that is what attracts people to you. And that is what, you know, people come in and they say, okay, fine, if I invest in this person, and this person is going to make a movie, this person is also going to look out for it that my money comes back to me. I'm saying at least that much drive is enough. Some people even let go of things, but I don't see that drive in a lot of people. They just want to go and make a film and then it's done. And it's fine, that's also a great attitude if you have a great producer. But if you don't have a producer and you're an indie filmmaker and you're your own producer and you're your own thing and you're going out there and getting money from people, then there's a responsibility attached to it, which a lot of people throw away. And you're the right example because you saw the pressure of it, taking easy money from people. When you take easy money, then that's what happens. So you have to actually go out there, and he's an example. He's actually created a word of mouth for a film. I was curious to watch it. I waited 8 months to watch the film. And I saw it after 8 months. And I sat 3 hours in the theater and saw the film in a language that I don't know.
This is in continuation with the questions which has been asked. This is a question for Amit. So you must have gone through this experience of checking out all the platforms which are available. One, why did you select Viral Fever? Why not iTunes? Why not paid content in YouTube? Why not Google Play? And how much, I think Bengali and Marathi, and I represent Malayalam, for regional films, what kind of platforms, what are the options? From your experience, if you can tell a bit.
See, when we were releasing Suleimani Kida, there were not that many platforms. So this was it was like the beginning of this phase, you know. I went with TVF purely because of my personal equation with the founders. And I think that really helps because, you know, like they took it seriously because they wanted the film to do well. And they really pushed it. With respect to regional cinema, I'm sure such more platforms will come up, or probably they're already there. So I haven't really done any done any research on that, but I'm sure you'll find it.
Okay, we have time for just one last question.
Anurag.
Okay, two last questions. Okay. Yeah.
Anurag, first of all, thank you so much for your lovely videos on Jabang and YouTube. Watching that, got motivated and made a film. And I need a guidance basically. The film is ready and I did the screening, as you just mentioned, in different countries where I've shot. Actors organize the community in different Toronto and all. And we just kept a donation box. If you feel like it's worth it, pay that much. And we take out the equipment cost completely from that few screenings. Now, the stage where I need your guidance is, as of now, when we go to the corporate house, is it publicity and print cost is so high, it's impossible to recover, though the film is okay, but still, you know, there's no recovery. So now the three options have been given to me. I just wanted to advise which works better. One is like, instead of going all out, just go localized distribution. Take a couple of theaters, put money, say 20, 30 lakhs in that area, see how it works, and then diffuse it further. Second option is make a web series out of it. People pay good amount, this is what I've been told, and then you can, you can cash in much better.
See, I always say the best thing is don't go to them, bring them to you. You bring them to you by creating noise. You create noise by localizing it. You first show it in one place, localize it, make noise, let them come to you. Web series is open to you even after your film is released. But we have sold Gangs of Wasseypur to Netflix 3 years after release, and it's coming out as a web series. So that's always open to you. And they will take you more, there are more chances of them taking you on if you've already made noise. I'm saying do it in order, bring them to you. You go to them, then it's like you are going there to ask them for money. And they become this person that, oh, I have to give him money, why should I give him money? I'm saying when I say bring them to you, it means that they want to be part of your joy. They come and they see you differently. They see how we can benefit from this. So the moment you go to somebody and asking for money, then you actually become a beggar. It's not going to happen. You're just a guy who's come to make a hole in the ship. So bring them to you. That's the way to go about it.
You can also run away from them when they come.
Yeah. And the more you run away, it will change.
Because they came onto us too soon. And so I think I ran in the other direction. So.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Taranjeet, I'm an actress. Amit, you said that you had this pressure, people asking you to remake the film with known faces. So is it true that the filmmakers, they're constantly under pressure to take known faces in the film? And like Anurag, you're known for giving chance to new people. So do you really give in to the pressure, or how much you stress on taking
See,
your own decisions?
the pressure is always directly proportional to the budget of your film. I'm saying higher the budget, the lesser control you have over the film. I've been through that experience. When I make a low budget film, nobody tells me what to do. I don't even share my script with them. So it is exactly that. So how tight you want to keep it? I can make a film with whoever I want and make whatever I want if I keep it under a certain cost, which I do a lot of times. And every time I have not done that, the control goes out of your hand. And you can't really do anything about it because the money comes from that. I always say the person who holds the strings, the purse, is the one who's going to come and dictate it. And it has, the best of filmmakers in the world have gone through that. So you can't really do anything about it. It's a tough fight. Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you, Amit. Thank you, BARDROY. All the best for your next film and all the best for your continuous distribution.